Watching my homies, DJ80 here, and I'm just doing a really quick review of something I've just bought. It's called the Ibiza DS40 SL overhead lighting stand. It's actually the same as the Equinox and the Gorilla Mark II overhead lighting kit with two poles and a double bar that goes across. But because this one has an Ibiza sticker on it, it's much cheaper. So I'm going to quickly open it up and just show you what we've got. Right, here's the box that it came in. Now I ordered this from CPC Farnell on Wednesday, and they actually tried to deliver it on Thursday, but I wasn't in, and today's Friday, so they've delivered it today. But as you can see, the box, I'm just hoping everything's in it. So I'm going to take everything out and see what we've got. So we get two upright poles that also come with their own nice shiny safety pins. Everything is brand new. We get two bars to go on the upright poles, and there's the bit that will go on top of the upright pole, and then there's the connections there. But I'm probably not going to use this bit. I'll explain in a minute. You get your set of instructions. You get lots of bolts and wing nuts for mounting lights, and obviously these do have pre-drilled holes. But most importantly, you get these clamps. Now these clamps on their own for a set of 4 are £40 for eBay. It's just profiteering. There's no way they cost £40 to make and get over here, and it's just one of those things that you have to bite the bullet with. But I brought this whole rig because it's Ibiza and not Equinox or Gorilla. I bought this whole lot for £85 brand new. Right, this is the booth that I've brought the kit for. I've got the Gorilla version, but you might have Equinox, Vonyx, Ibiza. I think if you're outside of the States, it's Rockville. And now with the Ibiza and Gorilla overhead kits, it does say on there it's not to be used with this, and that's because this is a much smaller stand than the Mark II DBS booths that you'll see, which is what the kit's designed for. So however, it doesn't say on the Ibiza product that you can't use it with this, so there's a little loophole for you. And the thing about these clamps is the framework on these booths is square, and that's where these clamps come into action. So what I plan to do is have two clamps on either side and to use the upright poles. Now I'm not going to be able to use these because when you put them together on the poles, the booth isn't wide enough. So when I come to join them at the top, they'll overlap. They won't be able to slot together. But that's not my plan anyway. I plan to use just the poles at the moment and put lights on top of them. So I'm going to put the clamps on and put the poles on, and we'll see what it's like from there. I've put the upright poles on, and the one on the right is at its highest setting. That's on 6 notches up. I think it's 1.8 meters. But what I'll probably do is use the one on the left at this setting, which is just 2 notches up. And that gives me enough height to mount a light on top. So when we're looking at the actual poles themselves, you see the pins are really nice, and they're thinner as well, and the wire that holds them is nice and strong. It's not plastic, and these are plastic, but they're shaped as well so you can get your thumb on them. And then what I've done here is I've put 2 of the clamps on this part of the booth. And if I show you this side, actually it'll be easier. So I've put the top one this high, and all I've done is I've just moved that Velcro out of the way, and the side of the clamp goes underneath the Velcro. Ideally, you'd want it maybe as high as possible because that stops the wave, the movement from the top. So the higher you have the clamps, the less movement there is at the top. But because of this mesh here on this particular booth, and it's just spot welded there, I probably could either just cut a little bit out there so that the clamp could go on it, or just force the clamp through, but I'm choosing not to at the moment because I'm not going to have a lot of weight on this. So that's the top clamp there, and then the bottom one I've done so it rests on that framework there as well, and that's the same for both sides. So now what I've done is I've put the overhead on both sides, and this is where you'll see here we've got clamps on both ends here to join them together, but you'll see that they overlap. That's because this is designed for a bigger booth than this one, which is why that won't work. Now I know some people have had this overhead kit and they've actually cut it to shorten it so that it fits together. I don't think I'm going to do that because I'm not I'm always changing my gear, as you will know, and I'm not particularly fussed about not having that overhead bar going across there. I'll plan to use top hats on the poles, which I'll put on in a moment. So I'd rather keep it just as it is, as brand new, and then if I do come to move it on, it's in the condition that someone's expecting to buy it in. So one of the options I was toying with is this splitter here. So it gives you the option to mount two lights onto one pole, and I'm going to put that on there. But as you can see here, if I take it away from a distance, there's an awful lot of wobble on that, and that's because these poles here are so narrow. They're not your normal, you get 35 mil, and so you get all this wibble wobble. And using this light here, this is a ADJ UV light. You can see a review of this on my channel as well. It has the same problem. They're standard top hat mounts, and the light wobbles about. And if I leave it up there, it sits a little drunk. And even if I tighten the screw fully, there's still too much wobble there. So one of my possible solutions for this is to use these O clamps, which come with various inserts to stick in the inside, so you can adjust the width to base it on the pole that you're putting it round. And I have put one on here. There we go. And I've got the bracket mounted there, and that's on its narrowest setting, so I'm using two of these big chunky ones. And I found a solution to my top hat problem. It's caused because this pole is only 25 mil in diameter. So what you need to do is buy these top hat lighting clamps, and these are 25 mil, and these poles have these little rubber grommets in the top, and if you just use, oh, where is it, a little flathead screwdriver, you prise them off. And you need to take these off because these clamps have a bolt that go all the way through the middle, so that needs to sit deeper into the pole, and then they fit on there nicely and there's no wobble, and then you just tighten that and that's on there nice and steady. These cost me from DJ Kit £25 delivered for a pair. I kind of got had because on the website they retail at £9, but then you get hit with postage, which is another 7 or 8 quid. But I needed them. It's the right tool for the job. I'm sure some people will say wrap all that round with tape and thicken it out, but honestly these will make your life much easier. They just go on. So what I'm going to do now is just stick a couple of lights on and just test the balance of the booth with lights on. For this particular example, I've mounted a pair of ADJ UV cob cannons, and they're 5 kilos each. And I haven't got anything on the shelf yet, and I've mounted them to the second height setting. Well, this booth isn't designed to have an overhead kit, so this is why I specifically brought these clamps instead of trying to budget. And this is okay, because if I pull on this way towards the back like that, it naturally pushes back forward. I don't know if I can show you that well. If I pull on it back, it goes forward. And that's without anything on the shelf as well. So once I've got my decks on here and I've got extra weight, it's fine. But my concern was, if I mount something on here, does it really set the booth off balance? And the fact of the matter is, even if I push it back like that, it wants to go forward. So there you have it then, the Ibiza DS40 SL lighting kit. Works with this booth, which goes by many names. This is the Gorilla DBS Lite one, I think. The Equinox, Vonyx, Ibiza booth. But the important thing is this pole and this setup, although I'm not using the overheads, all works with it, and it doesn't cause balance issues. And for £85, it makes more sense to buy the whole kit rather than spending £40 just to get 4 of these clamps. And yeah, it is, you know, it's well made. It's a nice quality piece of kit. And all I did was just put some, I don't know if you can see that there. I just put some tape around there. Originally I had it going all the way to the top, but you can't get those 25mm top hats over it, even with just one layer of black masking tape, electrical tape. So I took the bit off there, but I've left it on there, so when the round clamps go on, it just adds a bit of protection to the pole. But you don't have to do that if you want. It's just one little layer of electrical tape. So yeah, all good, very happy with it. And you saw it in action just now with 2 lights on. And yeah, I would recommend this if you want to try and create a lighting kit for this booth. Then that's the one to do it. And what I might even do is actually buy just a long bar that goes across the top, and then those bolts with the top hats are long enough to accommodate a piece of bar that goes across, and then just have one single bar overhead. But that's something to consider. Right, thanks very much for watching, guys, and good luck. See you next time. Bye.